Six of designing an app in 7-day challenge. And on day six, actually, there is a small change. So, as you can see, we were supposed to design our landing page and set up API as well. But unfortunately, I don't think so. We would be able to set up APIs in this, I mean, today because this is going to be a really long lesson. This is what I feel, but let's see if we complete it in time. We can change the curriculum. Anyway, so let's get started. So let's see our Figma file. So this is how our landing page is going to look like. So we have a this is where our students they can have access to all the live and upcoming boot camps over here. And we are not going to work on this menu item. It's just going to be there just for the show purpose. And later on we are also going to create the bootcamp details page. And as you can see, this is going to be, and this is the reason why I changed the curriculum. I don't want to you know um, get you all confused, so let's stick to this. And if we have time, we can set up API as well. So let's get started. So I wanted to head back to your bubble editor, and over here we are going to create a new page, and let's call this as UXboot. Let's create this. Let's change this to let's just keep it UXboot. There's no need to change this. Click on layout. We are going to set the container layout as column. Width is going to be 1440 and height is going to be 900. We need some room to work with. Let's see what do we have. So the first element over here is the header. So we are not gonna create it from scratch, because if you remember, on our login page and sign up page we had already used a header. So we're gonna make use of this element. Right click, copy header back to our UX boot and paste this over here. And we're gonna make few small tweaks. The first thing over here is, of course, it's full black. So let's change this background color to black, which is going to be our black color. And the logo over here, we're going to change this. And from the asset file, just use logo white. And there we go. Let's see. All right. So I want to select group inner, click on layout and check space between. All right. Because we need these two elements. I'm just going to show you the image over here. I mean the logo over here. And then we have this whole group. All right. So they need to be wide apart, far wide apart. That's what I meant to say. All right. So let's drop a text over here. All right. Let's center this as well. Let's get rid of min width, min height as well. And let's change the appearance to white, and let's make this semi bold. All right. And let's center this as well. So yeah, this is going to be boot camps. Click on layout. Let's make this actually let's go with 100. Let's see. And let's make it fixed width. All right, looks good. We're just going to copy and paste this. This is going to be let me see, is it testimonials? Yeah, it's testimonials. I'm just going to copy this and paste this over here. And the third one is support. And lastly, we have a button over here. Let's center this button, and let's not keep it fixed width. Min width is going to be 0, height is going to be 40, and let's make this fit width to content. All right, and this is going to be login, and the style over here is going to be our ghost button. There we go. Now let's group these four together, but let's see what's the gap. So it's 12. So let's Select all four elements, right click, group elements into a row container. Let's call this group, I'm just gonna call it group right. Click on layout and let's add a column gap of 6. Looks good. Let's make it fit with to content, and min height is going to be 0. There we go. Now let's just make this login button and make it last. Looks good. Now let's drop another group over here. Let's call this group banner. Min width is going to be 0. Min height, let's go with, let me check what's the height over here. So it's 300, so let's stick with 300. There we go. And over here we are going to add a top margin of 80 because I don't want this container or this banner to be hidden behind a header. So let's go ahead and put a top margin of 80. Looks good. Let's change the container alignment to be centered. And over here, let's also change the background style to flat color and make this black. And let's add a padding of 32 all around the edges. Or else let's make this 24. All right, there we go. Let's see what else do we have. So we have two text fields and a search element over here. Pretty easy. Let me check. The is font size is 50 and semi bold. So let's drop a text over here. And this is going to be discover your next learning journey. Let's paste this over here. Let's center this. Let's make this white. It's going to be semi bold and font size is going to be 50. It looks good. Let's click on layout. Min width is going to be 0. Min height is going to be 0 as well. Let's drop another text over here. Actually, instead of dropping another text, I'm just going to copy this text and paste it. I don't want to format everything all over again. This is going to be the subtext, which is explore ongoing and upcoming bootcamps and cohorts, but we are just going to work on bootcamps. Font size is 24 and it's 25 and regular. So let's paste this. Let's change this to 25 and let's make this regular. And we also have a search field over here, search box, you can see. And let's drop it over here. Let's call this search box bootcamp. This is going to be dynamic choice. And we are going to search for bootcamp, wherein the status is upcoming. Yeah. Actually, status is not equal to closed. Let's do that. There we go. Let's click on before that, let's first change the formatting. Font color is fine. Let's add a background style of flat color. Looks good. Let's add a roundness of, actually for roundness, let's keep the 0 for time being. Let's click on layout and let's make height as 40. All right. And let's make width, let's go with 350. Yeah. And over here, let's search bootcamps. And yeah, let's change the roundness to 100 and let's center this as well. Now let's group these two text elements together into a column container and let's add a row gap of 12 over here. Let's also get rid of this min height. And then we are going to group these two elements with a row gap of 24. So let's select these two, group elements into a column container with a row gap of 24. Min height 0. Let's call this group banner content. All right, that looks good. Let's also add a left and right padding of 12 in the search box. Yeah, now it looks better. All right, now let's start working on the list. Now this is going to be pretty simple, but before that, let's drop a group with a top padding of 48, and on left and right we have 32. All right, so let's drop another group over here. Let's call this group bootcamp container. This is going to be column. Min width is going to be 0, max width is going to be 1200. Let's center this as well. Min height 0, and check fit height to content. And over here, top margin is going to be 48. Bottom is going to be, let's keep it 32. Let's keep left and right as 32 as well. All right. One thing for this group banner, let's make padding 32 instead of 24. Just a small change. There we go. What's the issue over here? So I would remember to fill out the search field. Yeah, field to be searched is going to be bootcamp. All right. Now, we have already used this UI before for our students, if you remember. So we are just going to use that instead of creating it from scratch again. So let's head back to home. Let's bring up group home, and we are going to just select our RG bootcamp upcoming repeating group. Left click, sorry, right click, copy, head back to our UXboot, select group bootcamp container, and you know what, let's add some more height for this. Let's make this 2000. I need some space to work with. Yeah, select group bootcamp container, right click, and paste. Now over here we are going to make few changes in the search filter. It's going to be same. It's not equal to closed. So by default it's going to show us live and upcoming boot camps. All right, let's close this. There we go. Let me check. We need 3 columns. Perfect. Looks good. Do we have any conditions? No. All right. So I'm going to select group bootcamp container. Click on layout, and we're going to make this fit height to content. And let's add a bottom margin of 48. All right. Now let's select our page, that is UXboot, and let's make this 700. There we go. All right. Let's now work on bootcamp detail page. That's this one. So let's set up a workflow on this Enroll Now. Click on Appearance, add a workflow. We're going to navigate the user to a new page. We haven't created the page yet, so scroll down, create a new page, and let's call this bootcamp detail. All right. And let's clone this with edit bootcamp. You know what, no need of cloning it. We are going to create it from scratch. There we go. Let's create. From here, we're going to select bootcamp detail. Data to be sent is going to be parent group bootcamp. You know why we're getting this error. Just click on this button and we are good to go. We are going to add one more workflow on this login button. We're going to add a workflow and we're going to navigate the user to our login page. All right. Now let's start working on edit bootcamp detail page. Now over here, we're going to change the page title to UXboot space separator, and we're going to insert a dynamic data, which is going to be current page bootcamp's name. Click on layout. Container layout is going to be column because we are stacking elements. Width is going to be 1440. Height, let's go with 2000 because we need some room to work with. All right. Now let's see, what do we have over here. So we have an image field over here with the height of 400. So let's drop an image field. Let's call this featured image. There is no need of naming it, but I just force of habit. Uncheck max width. Yeah. Min width is going to be 0. Height is going to be 400. All right. In the appearance, click on dynamic data and we're going to insert dynamic data, which is current page bootcamps, featured image, process with images, check this box, run more rendering, zoom. All right. Now let's first test this out. I'm just going to go to test. I just want to see if I knew I was logged in as someone. So let's log out. And over here, we're going to change this login to our page name, that is UXboot. So we are able to see 6 boot camps. In my break time, I just went ahead and created a few dummy boot camps. Looks good, looks good. So if I click on this one, I should be able to see this image. Damn, it's way too big, way too big. Let's change that. Let's make this 250. Actually, you know what? Let's make this fixed height of 250. Let me see. No, actually, 400 was better. Yeah, let's stick to 400. Yeah, much better. All right. Now we are going to drop a group over here. Let's call this group main container. Naming elements, naming groups, really important. Min width 0, max width 1200. Let's center this. Min height 0, uncheck this box. Let me check the padding. We have 48 and 32. All right. 48 on top, 32 all around the edges. All right. So the container layout over here is going to be row because we are going to be stacking elements side by side. If you check the Figma file, this is group 1, this is going to be group left, and this is going to be group right. So the container layout is going to be row. All right. Now let's also add a column gap and row gap. So let me check. This is going to be 32. So column gap is going to be 32 and row gap, let's keep it 0. All right. Let's drop a group inside of group main container and let's call this group left. Min width is going to be 0, min height is going to be 0 as well, and let's select vertical alignment as vertical stretch. All right. Actually, for max width, let's keep it 70%. because then the other half is going to be our group right. All right, there we go. Now let's see what do we have over here. So we have already worked on this feature before, if you remember. So I'm just going to go ahead to our edit bootcamp, and I'm going to copy this whole group section. Right click, copy special, copy with workflows. Head back to bootcamp, click on group left, right click, paste special, paste with workflows. There we go. Now let's add a row gap of 24 in group left. Now before that, let's also set the type of content. So this is going to be, I select a group main container. Type of content is going to be bootcamp, and data source is going to be current page bootcamp. Similarly for group left, bootcamp, type of content, current page bootcamp. All right. So this is going to be the overview text, rich input text that we use. So let's go ahead and drop that over here. So we are just going to use a text field over here. Just drop it, and this is going to be current page bootcamps overview. All right. No need of changing this because it's a rich text field. So automatically it's going to show it, reflect over here. If you want, you can change the, yeah, no need to make any changes. Let's just make this min width 0, min height 0. All right. What else do we have? So we have this section over here. Again, this is one group, and then it's set as row. Container layout is set as row. All right. And then inside we have nested two more groups. All right. A lot of groups. Okay. So we're going to create these two elements, and then we are going to group them. All right. That's my way. Instead of creating a group, setting it to row, and then working on all this. So let's see. We have two text fields. This is 20 and this is 14. So let's work on that as well. I'm just going to copy and paste this. Again, paste this. This one is going to be the heading. So over here, this was, if I was not wrong, it was location. Location, let me check. Yeah, location type. Location type, and this was 20, and it was semi bold. Let me check. Was it semi bold or bold? Yeah, semi bold 20. And this was 14, but this is going to be current page bootcamps location type. There we go. Now let's group these two together. I'm just going to move this over here. Right click, group them into a column container because we're stacking them with a row gap of, let's go with 6. Min height is going to be 0. All right, and let's add a left padding of 12. And over here, we are going to check this box that define each border independently. And we are just going to add a border on the left hand side. So select solid width. Let's make it, let's go with 3 or 4. Let's go with 4. And this is going to be our primary green color. All right. So let's select, this is going to be group location type. All right. I'm going to select this group again, select group left, paste this. This one is going to be group duration. So let's change this to group duration, and let's change this as well. Duration. Again, this is going to change to duration. All right. Now I'm going to select these two groups, right click, group them into a row container. Let's see. The gap between these two is 12. So let's go ahead, click on layout. Let's add a column gap of 12 and a row gap of, let's make it 12 as well. All right. Min height is going to be 0. And let's make sure to ensure both of these groups, even though we have like, I haven't made the min height as 0, so it doesn't matter, but just for the design purposes, I like to be consistent. This is going to be bootcamp row 1. All right, let's copy this and paste this again. Let's call this row 2. What do we have over here? Start date and end date. So I'm just going to start date. This is going to be start date. This over here is going to be end date. And we had one more. Do we need URL? No. We just need let's just copy and paste this over here. And this is going to be location. And over here, there's going to be current page bootcamps location. All right. Now, I'm going to select this group. Let's call this group dummy. You know what? Let's just get rid of this whole thing. All right. And let's call this group location. That's it. And click on layout. We're going to uncheck this, check this box, collapse when hidden, and we're going to set a condition which is going to be when current page bootcamps location type is offline, then only this element is visible, otherwise it's going to be hidden. Now let me see the padding. So it's 24, so this is fine. All right, so now it's time to group all of these together. Right click, group elements into a column container. Let's call this group overview. Click on layout. Min height is going to be 0. And let's add a row gap of 24. We didn't select this group. Okay, so if you're not able to drop this over here, there's one way to do this. So as you can see over here, this is the, where is group overview? Yeah, this is the one. So let me just hide all of them. All right. So in group overview, we are just going to drag and drop it. There we go. But it went inside. It went inside this. Let's get rid of this one. Yep, now it looks good. And let's make this last. All right. Yeah, group overview. I'm not gonna set the condition because we have already done it in the previous lessons. So this is going to be an home assignment for you. It's pretty similar to what we did. You just need to, set the conditions and stuff like that. So we have worked on that. All right. Now that this is done, now let's work on tools. So for tools, Let's see. So it's going to be pretty similar for Teams agenda. So we are just going to copy paste those elements from our edit bootcamp page. All right. Except these two text fields are going to be they're going to vary from agenda to team and tools. So let's work on that. So I'm again going to drop a group over here. Let's call this group tools. Min width 0, min height 0, and check this box. We need some room to work with. And this is going to be column, so that's fine. I'm just going to copy this text over here, paste this over here, and again this text, copy this. And let's add a row gap of 24 on group tools. All right. So this over here for tools, what do we have? Let's just use what should we use? Let's use tools you will be learning, and over here, what should we use? Let me think. I'm just going to use this as subtext. I can't think of anything as of now. Let's paste this. There we go. I'm going to group these two together into a column container with a row gap of 12, and let's call this group title. All right. Min height 0. Now head back to our edit bootcamp and let's bring up group tools. All right. So we just need this repeating group that we had created, but make sure you select the repeating group over here. Right click, copy. Head back to bootcamp's detail. Make sure you select group tools, right click, paste. Now we're going to make few changes over here. So data source is going to be current. We are going to do a search for tools bootcamp. Actually, it is equal to current page bootcamp. There we go. All right. You know what? I'm just going to set this for this one use case just to show you how this is going to look. Right. Tool. Oh, it's already set. Damn. So I'm just going to copy this expression, select group tools, paste expression when this is true. This element is visible in layout. Let's uncheck this box, check this box. I'm going to select group tools and make it fit height to content. I'm going to select group overview over here. Paste this expression when this tool, this element is not visible. And I'm just going to copy this expression. Paste expression when this is true, this element is visible. Let's test this out. All right, we haven't set the start and end date for this course. That's why it's blank over here, but that's fine. If I click on tools, this is why I hate copying stuff from different pages. All right, we are going to go to bootcamp details. So let's go back. All right, click on tools. We forgot to make this collapse when hidden. There we go. Perfect. Looks good. Damn. I'm just going to go ahead and make this. Even you guys should go ahead and make the changes over here. Just it's just going to lower your burden. Bootcamp details, 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 details. Perfect. Now I'm just going to copy this, paste this over here. This is going to be group agenda. For agenda, let's see what do we have. Explore your learning journey. Copy and paste this over here. Let's copy the subtext. Paste this as well. Oops. This is the one. I'm just going to hide this. Let's hide group overview as well. Now it looks perfect, clean. Over here. So instead of searching for tools, we are going to do a search for agenda. Again, this is going to be current cell, but before that, we need to select our repeating group. Let's call this as repeating group agenda. Again, same thing, agenda, search for agenda. Let's change this as well. This is going to be parent group agenda. Let's select agenda over here as well. Let's change this to parent group agendas. Tools, tools image, process with imagex, zoom, that's fine. And this is, let's make this, and you know what? Why are we doing this? I'm just going to select group agenda, click on layout, uncheck this. Let's get rid of this whole thing. Head back to edit bootcamp, pull up our group agenda and just copy this repeating group. Here's group agenda, paste. Let's make this fit height to content. This is fine. This is going to be agenda. Copy this. Let's set this as well. And this is true. This element is not visible. Let's see. Let's go back again. All right. Overview, tools, agenda. Looks good. Now let's do this for teams as well. We don't need inclusions. So let's get rid of this. And yeah. Now we just need to work on team. Copy this, paste this over here. Let's hide this group agenda. Let's call this as group team. And over here, let's change this as well. Team. I hope this was team. Yeah, it's team. I'm going to copy this expression and paste this on group overview as well. This was supposed to be a home assignment. Anyway. All right. Now let's make changes for team. Learn live with industry experts. Subtext. Let's paste this over here. Let's select group team. Click on layout. Let's make it uncheck fit height to content because we need some room to work with. Let's get rid of this repeating group. Head back to edit bootcamp. Expand group container and let's unhide group team. Select this. Repeating group, right click. Yeah, make sure you select the repeating group. copy, head back to bootcamp details, bring up group team, and let's paste this over here. And over here, let's just add 4 columns. Let's see how this looks. Four looks fine. We can change it later on. Let's see how this looks. It looks good. They're able to see everything, all the details. Perfect. Now it's time. Let's select group left and yeah, this is fine. Now let's drop another group in group container. All right. Let's call this group right. Min width is going to be 0. Height, let's use 500 for time being. Click on appearance. And over here, max width is going to be 30%. Looks good. In appearance, we are going to add a roundness of 10. We are going to add a solid border with our border color. And we are going to add a padding of 24 all around the edges. Or you know what, let's make it 32. All right, and let's also add a row gap of 24. And let's make this last. Container layout is column, that's fine. In appearance, type of content is going to be bootcamp, and data source is going to be current page bootcamp. Now let's see. So we have this. Let me just check what's the padding over here. It's 24 actually. So let's just stick to 24. Oh, you know what? Yeah, let's actually get rid of this 32. All right. So we have a pricing text button and a secondary kind of a text. Pricing is going to be 30 bold. So I'm just going to use this and paste this inside. Let's change this to 30. And this is going to be bold. This is going to be price. Is it semicolon or yeah? Space dash space insert dynamic data current page bootcamps price formatted as currency decimal point 0 thousand separator comma currency is going to be dollar. There we go. Now let's add a button over here. This is going to be Enroll Now, and this is going to be a secondary button. Max width 0, min height 40. And we have a text over here. I'm just going to copy this text, paste this over here, center this, and the font size is 12. And let me check the color that we use. That's the secondary color. All right. I'm just going to copy this. Full refund available within 24 hours. Let's get rid of this expression. There we go. Now let's see. I have grouped this and the row group is 12. So let's group these together. Right click, group them into a column container. Let's call this group right top. Click on layout. Let's add a row gap of 12. Let's get rid of min height and let's add a padding of 24. all around the edges. If you also notice in the Figma file, we have a border over here. So let's add a border. We are going to define each border independently. So check this box. And we're just going to add a solid border with a width of 2. We're going to use our border color. Let me just see how this looks. Actually, we need to use it as 1. Let's make this 1 so that it's consistent with the border. All right. We're just going to copy this, select our group right, and paste it. Now select group right, click on layout, and let's get rid of this 500. All right. And select this group right top copy, and let's make this group right bottom, and let's also get rid of the border. So over here, let's get rid of this as well. Let's get rid of this button as well. We're going to select this text. All right. And this over here, let's keep this text okay for some time. And in group right bottom, I also noticed there is a gap over here. So let's just get rid of select group right. Row gap is going to be 0. All right. So in group right bottom, we are going to drop a repeating group. All right. Let's drop a repeating group. And now let's get rid of this. In this repeating group, let's get rid of min width. Let's make this, you know what, let's make it 200. Click on appearance. We are going to uncheck this. It's going to be 100% because the rows are going to be dynamic. Type of content over here is going to be inclusions. Data source, we are going to do a search for inclusion wherein, why does this happen? Bootcamp is equal to current page bootcamp. Let's close this. Click on layout, and we're going to set this as a row. All right. All right. Because we are stacking elements over here, if you notice. So right now we're working on this. All right. We do need to set this thing up. All right. So we have an icon over here. So for that, head back to hero icons, click on solid. Or else, you know what? Instead of doing this, head back to edit bootcamp, inclusion, and hide group inclusion. Scroll down, and let's use this group in a inclusion. Copy this, head back to bootcamp details, select repeating group inclusion, and let's actually we could have use the repeating group, but it's okay. This is going to be 14. Check this is, and let's make this 6. All right, let's select the repeating group, and let's get rid of min height, and let's make it 0, and select group in inclusion, and let's make it top aligned. All right, now I'm just going to select our group right bottom. This is fine, and I'm just going to drop this text over here, paste it. Let's make this first, and let's copy this bootcamp includes all this stuff. Now we are going to make one thing over here. We do need to make it sticky. All right, so for that, make sure you select group right, and before we do that, head to settings, click on general, scroll down, and make sure you have checked this box that is expose the option to add an id attribute to html element. After doing it, make sure you have selected a group right over here. All right, And before that, you are going to drop a HTML element over here in group container and head back to your Notion doc, scroll down, and I have given a HTML script over here. Just copy this, head back to Bubble Editor and paste this over here. Copy this and roll, select group right, scroll down, and over here in idea attribute, we are going to paste this. All right. And let's check this out, how this looks. It has those ugly borders. All right, so here's what we are going to do. Let's select repeating group inclusion. Let's add a width of 12 with white background. Let's get rid of these ugly border as well. Now I think it should look good. Looks clean. There we go. It's sticky. So even if we have a huge list of agenda, it's still going to stick over there. There we go. For team, for teams, I'm thinking let's make it 3. All right. So let's bring up. Oh, before that, let's select HTML element over here and let's make this 2 by 2. And let's make this, yeah, that's fine. You can drop it anywhere. It won't bug you guys. Yeah, let's unhide group team and let's make this instead of 4, let's make this 3. I want it to be like, huge. Looks good. Looks good. You know what? Let's set the API in this lesson. Let's do it. All right. So, okay. So, I wanted to, you can use the Notion doc. I had given the documentation link over here. You can just open this. All right. But I have opened it over here. So, I'm just going to unpin this. Let's bring this over here. Let's unpin this as well. All right. So before we set this up, I want you to go to Stripe. If you don't have an account, you can go ahead and create an account. It's going to ask you a few questions, answer them correctly. After that, you need to authenticate with your government ID as well. Make sure you authenticate it. All right. And once you do this, this is how your dashboard is going to look. And once you have this dashboard, make sure you switch this toggle on, that is test mode. Don't do this on live mode. Whenever you're testing your bubble app with Stripe, make sure the test mode is on. All right. So this is how your dashboard is going to look. And you can go ahead and open up this documentation. Documentation is like a Bible if you want to be really good at APIs. Or okay, because it has everything. What should you post? I mean, what code should you paste, and what's going to be the response? All right, everything. What are the mandatory field, everything is over here. All right. So I wanted to head back to Bubble Editor. All right. And just duplicate your tab, that is the Bubble Editor, because we might be switching from here and there. Now head to plugin. Now over here we're going to add a new plugin, which is going to be this one, API connector by Bubble. Stripe, I mean, they also have a Stripe plugin, but I prefer to use API connector. Okay. Also, we are going to be using backend workflows. So make sure you are on the paid version of Bubble, because backend workflows are not available in free plan, right? Okay, so let me just get rid of this whole stuff. Okay, so this is how your API connector is going to look. Okay, and over here, before we also set that up, head over to settings, click on APIs and check this box, that is enable workflow APIs and backend workflows. All right, Now, let's head back to our plugin. We're going to add a new plugin. Now, before we set up API, we need to tell our API that what is this API about, right? So the API name over here is going to be Stripe. Authentication is going to be private key in a header. Key name is going to be authorization, so don't mess with it. Key value over here is going to be bearer. Make sure you don't misspell it. Let me just check if I didn't. Bearer. Head over to Stripe, click on developers, click on API keys, and we are going to select our secret key. Make sure you copy it, head back to our bubble editor, click on bearer and hit space and then paste the whole secret key. Now I wanted to copy this whole string, copy this along with the bearer, and we are going to paste this in development key value. So basically, we have created a shared header. So if you are managing multiple APIs, over here we are just going to use one API call. But I just wanted to guide you if in future, if in your project, you need to do multiple API calls for Stripe, it's better to have a shared header and then you can keep on adding the API calls. All right. So let's expand this. And this is, we are going to name this as Stripe checkout. We're going to use this as an action because we are going to integrate this API call with our button. So that's why it's going to be action. Request is going to be post. Now this is where we're going to make use of our documentation. Now everything is mentioned in the documentation. You can refer this. So as you can see, we're creating a session, checkout session. So for this, we are just going to copy this URL. Make sure you just copy it till sessions. Copy this, head back to your bubble editor. This is the one. And just paste this over here. After this, we are going to start adding the parameters. So head back to Notion doc. The first one is going to be mode. All right. So let's select mode. That's going to be payment. Just make sure you don't mess this up. This is going to be private and check query string. We're going to add a second parameter that is going to be line item quantity. Again, this is going to be 1 and check query string. The third one is going to be the name of the bootcamp over here. So just paste this over here. And the value over here, as of now, we are on this one, UX Research Bootcamp. But anyway, I wanted to head back to your data, click on app data, click on bootcamps, scroll down, and you can use any of one, but I'm going to use UI Design Bootcamp. Click on edit. Keep this page open because we are going to need this again. Copy this bootcamp name, paste this over here, uncheck private. We're going to uncheck private because we are going to use this API in our workflows. So the moment you click private, we won't be able to, make this dynamic. Make sure you check query string. Let's add another parameter that is going to be the price of the bootcamp. All right. Let's paste this. And this over here, this is the price. Now I know you must be thinking it's 199, but why are we using this? So Stripe usually converts your amount into cents. It converts it into cents. So that's why we are using this. And later on in the workflow, we are going to convert those cents into dollars again. Uncheck private, query string, add parameter again. This is going to be the feature image. All right. So again, copy this. And over here, we are going to head back to the open tab over here. And we're going to click on C. Make sure you copy the whole URL over here along with the HTTPS. Just make sure you do that. Okay. Let me just get rid of this. Paste this over here. Uncheck this. Check query string as well. What else do we have? Description. This is going to be our bootcamp description. So I'm just going to copy this. You can just copy this from the Notion doc. Again, uncheck private, check query string. What else do we have? USD. Copy this, paste this over here. This is going to be USD. You're going to keep this as private. Check this box, query string. Customer email. Again, customer email. This is, make sure you use your email ID. So I'm just going to use my email ID for testing purpose. There we go. Make sure you uncheck private and check query string. What else do we have? Client reference ID. Client reference ID is going to be the unique ID of our bootcamp. So head over and copy this unique ID. Paste this over here. Again, uncheck private, check query string. Success URL. Over here, I want you to copy this link. Let me just refresh this. Click on overview. We are going to copy this URL and paste this over here. Uncheck private, check query string. And then lastly, we have cancel URL. Again, we are going to copy this URL, the one we used in success URL, and paste this over here. Uncheck private, query string. So ideally, you should have only 3 parameters checked as private. That is going to be payment, quantity, and the currency. After doing this, hit on initialize call. If you get an error, you will get a dialog box with the error mentioned in it. All right. So here's what's going to happen. So we have set this API call to fetch a URL. So basically it's creating a URL for us. It's creating a checkout session URL. So if you scroll down, click on raw data, again scroll down. So if I'm just going to copy this URL over here, okay? You don't need to do this. Just make sure you save this, okay? Save this. I'm just going to open a new tab and paste the URL that we got. And boom, as you can see, it is able to fetch all the details that we set up in the API call. The name of the bootcamp, the description, price, image. It also got the email ID as well. All right. All right. Once we have initialized the call, we are going to head back to our design. We're going to click on Enroll Now, and we are going to add a workflow. Now over here, we are going to search for Stripe. Stripe, check out the API that we just created. And there we go. Now we are going to set the dynamic data in this. And if you can notice, it only shows the values or the parameters that were unchecked that were kept, that we kept. Wait a minute. It's showing the parameters wherein the private box was unchecked. Damn. Okay, so this one, pretty simple. This is going to be really easy. So this one is going to be the bootcamp, current page bootcamp name. Line item over here is going to be current page bootcamp's price. We are going to divide it by 100. Oh, actually, sorry, not divide. Multiply it by 100. Because, yeah, it converts it into cents. This over here is the featured image. So for here, just type https semicolon Click on insert dynamic data, current page bootcamps, featured image, URL. All right. This over here is going to be current page bootcamps tagline. Custom email over here is going to be current users email. This is client reference ID. So this is going to be current page bootcamps unique ID. Scroll down and select unique ID. Success URL over here. So this one is going to be, we're going to insert a dynamic data. This is going to be, just search for this, select this URL, click outside the box, again click inside the box, hit question mark, and over here we are going to type success is equal to true. All right. We are going to work on this success is equal to true in a minute. For cancel URL, again insert dynamic data, this URL. Okay, so basically success, this parameter, we're going to use it on our bootcamp detail page. So what you want, I want you to do is drop a pop-up, all right, on our page. Let's call this as success. Let's bring this up over here. Let's click on layout. This is going to be column. Let's make this 430. Height, let's make it 200 for time being. Padding is going to be 24 all around the edges. And let's add a row gap of 12. So over here, we are going to drop a text field. This is going to be thank you for enrolling to insert dynamic data, current page bootcamp name. And this over here, let's make this as 20 and let's make this bold. Click on layout, min width 0, min height 0. We are going to copy and paste this, and over here we are going to enter a dummy tag that is going to be we have emailed you bootcamp details. All right, and this is going to be font size is going to be 14, and let's make this regular, and let's change the color to secondary text color. Click on pop-up success, click on layout, min height is going to be 0. All right, so we're going to add a workflow, create a new workflow here, and we are going to select this one when page is loaded, and over here we're going to set a condition that is going to be get data from page URL where success is true. When success is true, we are going to show our pop-up success. Now again, head back to our button enroll workflow, the stripe that we were working on. Let us check if we have set everything properly. Yeah. Now if you remember, we were getting a URL. So we're going to add a second step. We are going to navigate the user, open our external website. And over here, we're going to insert dynamic data, which is going to be a result of step 1, URL. There we go. Now, before we try this out, we do need to set up one more thing. Click over here, and we are going to create our backend workflows. So what backend workflow over here is going to do, we need to, approve that, the payment was made successfully. And based on this payment, we need to create a booking record. All right, because right now we are just creating a URL, a session. That's it. But once the payment is done, we need to work on the workflow to create a booking record. All right, so this is where backend workflows and Stripe webhook comes in. So what Stripe webhook does, it basically listens to all the calls that are being run. All right, so let's create a new API workflow over here, and let's call this as a checkout dash session. Yeah, let's just use this one. Just make sure it's a single word. Okay, check these two boxes. This is going to be post request, and over here parameter definition is going to be detect request data. uh Now before we do this, uh let's hold this. I just remembered one thing, so head back to bootcamp details, and we are going to create a let's create a pop-up over here. One more pop-up. All right, and let's call this pop-up login, and let's set this container layout as column. Let's make this 430 height. Let's make this 600 for time being, and let's add a padding of 24. All right, so basically we are going to bring a pop-up every time a page is loaded to show, I mean, to notify that that the user should log in. All right, so for that I'm going to head over to login. I'm going to select this group. That's this group. This should be group login. All right, we are going to select group login. Copy this. Copy special with workflows. Actually, let's just copy it. All right, head back to our bootcamp details. Let's bring up the pop-up login. Select pop-up login, and let's paste this over here. Uncheck this. Min width is going to be 0, and let's also get rid of the padding that we have for this. All right, looks good. Let's also get rid of this margin, make it 0. I'm going to select pop-up login. Min height is going to be 0, and here input email, input password. Here we are going to add a workflow. We are just going to log the user in, input emails value, input passwords value, and after this we are going to reset the inputs and hide the pop-up login. All right, now let's create a workflow, and we can run this when page is loaded. All right, so when page is loaded, we are going to show our pop-up login. Let me check. All right, yeah. So let's head back to backend workflows. All right. So over here, parameter definition is going to be detect request data. We are going to click on request detect data. Make sure to keep this page open because do not cancel this. All right. We are going to copy this URL, head over to Stripe, click on webhooks, and we are going to add an endpoint. I wanted to paste this URL over here that we just copied. In the description, let's say student enrolls to bootcamp. And over here, we are going to select an event, which is going to be checkout session completed. Because as I mentioned, we are listening to the API call, all right, and we are confirming that, okay, payment was done successfully. There we go. Let's add this event and let's add a endpoint. Again, do not close this window. Okay, I'm just going to close the one that we opened. Now open your preview page. Let's refresh this. There it go. It's telling me to log in. I'm gonna log in as Sasha Woods at the rate example.com. Let's log in. Okay, we were successfully able to log in. We're gonna click on Enroll Now. So it's working. It's able to fetch the bootcamp as well. So over here, we are in the test mode as you can see. So we are going to use test card information, which is 4242, 4242, 4242, again 4242. Month and year can be anything greater than current year. Again, test password, anything works. I'm going to use Sasha words over here, and postal code is going to be this one. You can use anything. And let's hit pay. Now, after the payment is successful, there is going to be a change in our bubble editor over here. There we go. So we were able to successfully listen and capture the API call. Okay. So if you scroll down, we get the raw data. You can see over here, checkout session completed. So yeah, we were able to get the data. So make sure you save this. All right. Now after this, we are going to create a new thing, which is going to be booking. Let's add all the fields. So let's see. So for booking ID, this is going to be a randomly generated string. So for this, just search for formula, click on calculate formula. Type is going to be generate random string. Over here, I'm just going to use length of character is going to be 5. We are only going to use numbers. Instead of 5, let's make it 8. There we go. Let's close this. Bootcamp over here. So over here we are going to do a search for bootcamp wherein the unique ID is equal to request data client reference ID. If you remember, this is the thing that we set in our API. Okay, don't need to stress that much. Just follow my steps. Okay, if you get confused or overwhelmed, close this and we are going to select first item. For duration, again, let's copy this expression, paste this. This is going to be first items duration. Similarly for end date, first items end date. Enrollment type, again, paste this expression. This is going to be enrollment type. Location. Oh, this is location type. This is location. Location. Same for the location type. For price, we are going to select request data, objects amount total, and over here we are going to divide it by 100, because if you remember, Stripe handles all the payments, all the price in cents. So we are going to convert it into dollars and then store it. Again, over here, paste expression, and this is going to be start date. URL, over here, again, paste the expression, and this is going to be the URL that we get. Now for user, what we are going to do, we are going to do a search for user wherein the email is equal to request data customer detail email. But if you're not able to find it, let's just search for email, and this is the one, objects customer details email. There we go. Close this, and there's going to be first item again. Now if you remember, we are creating the booking, all right, but we also need to enroll the user in that existing bootcamp. So for that, we are going to add in step 2, which is make changes to a thing. And again, over here, we are going to paste the expression, which is going to be the bootcamp. And we are just going to add one field that is going to be enroll students. We are going to add the user that we just created over here. So just copy this expression, paste this over here. There we go. Let us check the database. As of now, we do need to test it out one more time, but just hold on there. Let me just check. We are enrolling the student, and we do need to enroll in the bootcamp as well for the user. Okay, so let's add one more step over here. Again, make changes to a thing, and this is going to be the user over here. Paste the expression. Enroll bootcamp, add. We are going to use this expression that we use in step 2. Copy this expression, paste this over here. We're done. Now, we're not done yet. Head back to our developers webhook over here. Click on these 3 dots. Click on update details and make sure you get rid of the only the initial. Okay, we do need the slash bracket. Just get rid of the initial at the end. Update endpoint. All right. Now let's test this out again. It's telling me to log in again. Again, this is going to be a home assignment for you. Just figure out the way to, get rid of this. If you're confused, if you're not able to get it, let me know in the comments, or you can drop me a message on my website, Build No Code Hustle. Sasha Woods, sample.com. Let's log in again. All right, let's try this now. I'm just going to show you the database over here. We don't have any bookings. All right, so let's test this out. Click on enroll, enter test card details. Sasha Woods, pin code, pay. Not right. Now let's see. There it is. Got everything. Sasha Woods. Let's see our in our boot camp. Let's check this one. So over here in enroll, we should be able to see Sasha somewhere. Oh, there she is. This is the one that we UX Research Bootcamp Europe. Yeah, it's working. Let's check in user as well. Sasha. There it is. Enroll bootcamps. All right. Now let's just let's just log out from Sasha and let's log in again and let's see how her dashboard is going to look. So we should be able to see booking card over here. All right. We are not able to see the button over here, so let's check that out. Let's fix it. Home. Group booking. Let's expand this. Oh, it was on the pop-up. My bad. There it is. So it's an online and that's why we're able to see the join. And yeah, and you can set a workflow on this button, open a external website, and then it's going to be parent groups URL. You can figure that out. I mean, come on. You guys are now bubble experts. All right. So we are done with our day 6, what we had originally planned. So let's change this. Yeah. So in day 7, we are just going to make our app responsive. So I'm just going to, copy this, paste this over here. Damn, we did it. Guys, come on, you should be happy. So it's just going to be make our app responsive. So in day seven is going to be pretty chill because we are going to make our app responsive. So yeah, I'll see you over there. I hope you enjoyed this whole series. You're enjoying this whole series, enjoying this video. Do like and subscribe to my channel. And yeah, if you have any doubts, I do have other course as well for creating SaaS application for those who are interested in creating a SaaS app. You can use it. I do run coupons like monthly, so you can take that as an advantage as well. And those courses are like more detailed because I give out bonus content in those courses, and I share a few tips and tricks that I have been using for last 7 years, 7 to 6 years. So yeah, if you're interested in the SaaS course, you can go ahead check that out. I have mentioned the link in the description. So yeah, thank you and have a good day.